I'm Mike Vidan, co-founder of QuoteIQ, what I believe is the best field service management software built specifically for home and field service contractors. And I am excited about our latest release, a brand new AI feature built directly into our business phone system, ClientHub. And this feature is absolutely insane. If you don't know, ClientHub is a full service business phone system built directly into QuoteIQ CRM. So the same software that you're already using to send estimates, create invoices, manage employees, schedule jobs, and basically run your entire business now also includes a complete calling and texting system built right in. So with QuoteIQ, the same software you're using to send your estimates, create your invoices, manage your employees, schedule those jobs, everything that you need to do for your business also has a full built-in business phone system. And now it has some AI functionality as well. But with QuoteIQ's business phone system ClientHub, you get texting, calling, voicemail, call recordings, call summaries, the whole communication stack all sitting in one place inside of QuoteIQ. That means you're not stitching together a bunch of things like OpenPhone or RingCentral with a separate database to manage your customers. It is all unified inside one tool, and that tool is QuoteIQ. That matters for context because the feature that we're looking at today lives inside the ClientHub feature. So this new AI feature is called AI AutoReply. What QuoteIQ has built here is what I call an action-taking AI. It does four distinct things. First, it actually replies to your customers using conversation history and your customer data. So it's not generic, it's actually contextual. Second, it can book appointments directly on your calendar after checking your availability, meaning that AI is actually doing actual scheduling on your behalf, not just confirming intent. Third, it can draft estimates and it can create invoices that are then ready to send. So it's automating your quote preparation for you. And fourth, it can detect negative sentiment or urgent requests and then route those conversations straight to you. So a human handles them before an AI does. This is the kind of feature that in 2026 separates a real home service software from what is essentially a glorified text inbox with calendars that are attached. So we're going to do two things today. First, I am going to set this thing up from scratch. Every single setting, every single toggle, every single guardrail, so that you can see exactly what this configuration looks like and what each option does. Then, in the second half of this video, I'm actually going to use this feature so you can see what it does. We're going to pretend to do 6 different types of customers, and I'm going to show you exactly how AI handles a normal quote, a customer trying to book an appointment, a pricing question, an angry customer, a refund demand, and a rapid fire back and forth conversation. So if you run a pressure washing company, a lawn care business, an HVAC operation, a plumbing company, or really any home or field service business, and you're not the first person to respond when a lead texts in, this is the category of feature that's going to decide whether you're winning customers over or you're letting them go on to your competitors. So let's get into this video. The setup for this feature lives inside of QuoteIQ's ClientHub. So once you're inside of QuoteIQ,
navigate over to ClientHub and then click on the Configure button. That's going to give you a drop-down menu with a few different options. Call forwarding, voice calling, call settings, AI AutoReply, and AI usage and activity. The one we're looking at is AI
AutoReply. When you click into it, this whole configuration panel opens up on the right side of your screen. And the way that it's organized is actually really intuitive. There are 3 different types of buckets of settings. The first bucket is behavior, which controls how the AI thinks and responds. The second bucket is voice, which controls how the AI sounds and what business-specific rules that it follows. And the third bucket is guardrails, which controls what the AI should hand off to you and what topics it should route directly to a human. Now, I'm going to walk you through each section in order because the order actually does matter when you're setting this up for the first time. So the first section that you're going to want to look at is called Status and Overview. This is where the master controls live for the entire AutoReply engine. Now, when you click into it, you're going to see the 3 main toggles. The first toggle is Enable AutoReply, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It is the master on-off switch for the entire system. Whenever this is toggled on, the AI is actively responding to incoming customer messages whenever you're not personally able to handle them. The second toggle is called Review Before Sending. When this is toggled on, every reply that the AI generates gets queued up for your first approval. You see the message, you approve it, and then it goes out. This is perfect if you want hands-on control of every single text going out from your business. You keep the speed and the intelligence of the AI, but you're the one hitting send. The third toggle is After Hours Only, and this is one of the smartest use cases for the entire feature. You can restrict the AI to firing only outside of your business hours. So during the day when you and your team are responsive, customers get a human response. And then at night or on a weekend or a holiday, when you would normally miss this type of interaction with the customer, the AI picks it up for you and keeps the conversation alive. So for the purposes of this demo, I am turning Enable AutoReply on, and I'm leaving Review Before Sending in After Hours Only off, so you can see how this AI actually fires in real time. But toggle on whatever you want and then press save. Next up is Smart Level. This setting controls how intelligent and contextual the AI's responses actually are. And there are 3 modes to this. The first one is called Acknowledge. This is the simplest mode. The AI sends a quick confirmation back to the customer that you received their message. It's good for when you want to let people know that they have been heard. The second mode is called Contextual. Now, in this mode, the AI reads through the conversation history with that customer, looks at their customer data, and writes a real contextual reply that's specific to what they're talking about. This is where the AI starts to feel like an actual assistant. It's really insane. The third mode is called Full Service, and this is the most powerful option that you have. In full service mode, the AI references your existing quotes, your appointments, your job history with that customer, and it can answer detailed questions about their account. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Think of it as your AI having full access to everything your customer has ever done with your business. And I'm going with Contextual for this demo because it's a sweet spot in between intelligence and predictability. Next is reply timing. The question being asked here is when a customer sends a message, how quickly does AI fire back to its response? Now, you have 4 options here. You've got immediately, you've got 5 minutes later, 30 minutes later, or 2 hours later. Now, immediately means the AI is going to respond the second that the text is sent. 5 minutes, obviously, it adds a small delay, so the response reads as if a real person took the time to read the message and then reply. 30 minutes and 2 hours gives you longer windows for more deliberate pacing. This is all up to you. But for this demo, I'm picking immediately so you can see the AI fire in real time. Now, reply tone is your next setting, and it matters more than what people give it credit for. There are 4 options for reply tone. Professional is the default. It's polished, it's respectful, slightly formal. Then you've got friendly, which is warmer, a little bit more conversational. The third one is casual. It's a little bit shorter and more text message-like. It's got a much more relaxed feel. And then there is a match the customer, which adapts the AI's tone to however the customer is talking to you. A casual customer gets a casual reply. A formal customer gets a formal reply. And a customer being a complete jackass gets a jackass reply. Now, I'm just kidding about that one, but I'm sure you get exactly what I'm talking about, right? So for this demo, I'm going to pick professional. Now, the next section, in my opinion, is one of the most important settings in the entire feature, and it's also the one that most people are going to skip over entirely, and it's called custom instructions. What this is essentially is a free text field where you can type in standing rules that the AI is going to follow on every single reply that it sends out, and this really is an important one. Think of it like a system prompt for your specific business. Whatever you put in the box, the AI treats it as its core directive for how to interact with every single customer that it's going to interact with. Now, if you've ever used ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude, you understand how important a prompt is. And this is the prompt that's going to direct your AI. Now, the reason that this matters so much is because this is where you encode your business-specific personality, your specific value, your specific positioning, things that AI can't possibly know just from reading customer conversation history. I'm going to give you an example here. I'm going to type in, always mention we're licensed and we're insured. And if you're asked about pricing, direct them to request an estimate. These are just two very simple rules, but they're going to dramatically change how the AI handles every single conversation from this point moving forward. Now, that first rule, mentioning licensed and insured, is the kind of thing that matters to the home service market, right? Customers really care about that. Licensing and insurance are huge trust signals for customers who are about to let a stranger come into their home, come into their property, and perform a task. So by forcing the AI to mention that in your replies, you are reinforcing a sales point on every single touch. The second rule is even more important than the last one. Pricing questions over text are one of the worst things that can happen to your close rate. When a customer texts in and asks for how much something cost, and then you just give them a number without context, you've handed that lead everything that they need to go and price shop you, right, against a couple other of your competitors. The right move for a lot of businesses from a sales perspective is to redirect that conversation towards an actual estimate, a real conversation, a real assessment for that specific job. So, forcing the AI to push pricing questions back towards the estimate form is a massive win that most contractors really aren't going to think to set up. And if you've got InstaQuote and InstaSchedule, you're already halfway there. So press save, let's go on. AI permissions is the next section, and this is where the feature really starts to flex. The previous settings all control what the AI says. The controls, what the AI is allowed to do on your behalf. There are 5 different toggles here. The first is create deals. Now, when an AI detects the customer is showing buying intent, it automatically creates a deal in your sales pipeline. The second is to book appointments. So this is what allows the AI to actually schedule jobs directly on your calendar after checking your availability. The third is to draft estimates. Again, obviously, this allows the AI to create a draft quote that are ready for you to review and then send to your customers after you approve them. The fourth is to draft invoices. Same idea, but for the invoicing after a job is done. And the fifth is to set reminders. The AI creates follow-up reminders so nothing can fall through the cracks. And for this demo, I'm going to be turning on book appointments because it's the highest leverage permission in this entire list. But think about what all this means for a contractor. A customer texts in, says they want you to come out Tuesday at 10 a.m. Your calendar is open at that exact time, and the AI just confirms a booking. It puts it on your schedule in real time. That's the kind of automation that actually moves the needle. I mean, you're having AI answer texts and schedule jobs for you, which is insane and something that you're not going to find in any other home service contractor software. Now, we're going to move into the guardrail section. And the first one is escalation. This is the intelligence layer when a conversation needs a little bit of human touch. There are 3 toggles here. The master toggle is called Smart Escalation. Below it are 2 triggers, negative sentiment and urgent request. Negative sentiment means that if a customer's message contains anger, frustration, or a complaint, the AI is going to route that conversation straight to you so you can handle it personally because you don't really want an AI answering an angry customer for you. It might piss them off even further. We know this. Urgent request means that if a customer's message somehow indicates something is time sensitive, like an emergency, a leak, something is broken, anything that needs immediate human attention, the AI is going to send it again straight to you. Both of these triggers are exactly what you want for a real home or field service business. So I'm going to leave both of these turned on, obviously. And then next up is excluded topics. This is a list of things that you build out yourself, and it's going to represent topics that the AI is never going to engage in on its own. So if a customer brings up one of these topics, topics, the AI routes it straight to you. This is where you would encode your specific business preferences. For example, I'm adding refunds to this list because I want refund conversations to be a human-to-human conversation. I'm also adding any kind of legal questions because anything that gets into liability, contracts, or legal disputes also needs to be a human-to-human conversation, right? You can add literally anything that you want here. Warranty claims, scheduling disputes, negative reviews, anything you want to keep your hands on directly, you can do so here. But let's get into the last section before we wrap this all up, and that is reply cap. Now, this controls how many back and forth exchanges the AI is allowed to have in a single conversation before it hands it back over to you. Now, the options here are 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, or unlimited. Now, I'm setting this one at 3. 3 back and forth is enough for the AI to handle most basic conversations. Now, a customer asks a question, gets an answer, follows up and gets a second answer. Ask one more, gets a third answer, and then I'm stepping in personally, right? You can choose whatever you want, hit save, then let's move on. And that right there is the entire setup of this feature. We're back on the main overview now, and you can see every row reflects the new state that we just configured. Smart level on contextual, reply timing is set on immediately, AI permission showing book appointments enabled, reply tone is professional, custom instructions filled in with 2 rules, escalation with both triggers are active, excluded topics showing the 2 that we have added, reply cap set to 3. Now that whole thing took about 2 minutes to set up. Now I'm going to show you exactly what this does in the real world. For the demo purposes of this video, I'm pretending I'm a real customer reaching out for the first time to this business. I'm going to run 6 different scenarios, so I'm going to show you exactly how the AI handles each one of these. So scenario 1 is the most common type of inbound message that really any home service business gets. And for this, I'm going to use pressure washing as an example. It's a text saying, hey, looking for a quote on pressure washing my driveway and front sidewalk. Standard customer text. This is what 80% of your inbound is going to look like. It's a real lead. They're polite, they're clear about what they want. And the response just came in. Notice it mentioned licensed and insured right out of the gate. This is our customer instruction firing. And instead of throwing out a price, it pushed the customer towards requesting an actual estimate, which is exactly what we set it up to do. The customer instructions were working perfectly, and we just protected the close rate on a real lead. So let's go on to scenario 2. And this is showing off the book appointments permission. I'm texting in, can you come out Friday at 2 p.m.? This is a real customer trying to book a specific time slot. The AI is going to check my calendar to see if Friday at 2 p.m. is open, and if it is, the AI is going to confirm the appointment on my behalf and then put it directly on our calendar. The response just came in confirming Friday at 2 p.m. Let me pull up the calendar. There it is, Friday 2 p.m. It's booked. The AI just did real scheduling for a real customer with no human in the loop in under a minute. That is the kind of automation that actually pays for itself in the first week of using this feature. So scenario 3 is putting the customer instruction to work. I'm texting in, how much do you charge for a $1,500 house wash? This is a customer asking for a specific price for a very specific job. And if you remember, we told the AI to redirect pricing questions to the estimate form, and the response just came in. It pushed the customer towards submitting a proper estimate request rather than throwing out a number that would let them go compare shop against 3 competitors. That's the kind of micro detail that compounds across hundreds of leads. Scenario 4 is showing the escalation in action. I texted this in. This is ridiculous. No one ever called me back about my last appointment. Now, this is an angry customer. This is a frustrated customer. The AI is going to recognize the negative sentiment, step aside, and route this conversation straight to me. And right on cue, I just got a notification on my phone that this conversation needs my attention. The customer didn't get a tone-deaf canned reply. The conversation got routed straight to a human, and now I can take over personally. And that right there is the difference between an AI that helps your business and AI that puts your reputation at risk. But scenario number 5 is showing the excluded topics list at work. I'm texting in that I want a refund on the last service. Refunds is on our exclusion list, which means the AI should hand this conversation directly off to me, the human. And that is exactly what just happened. Refund conversation stays human where they belong. Scenario number 6 is going to show the reply cap. We set this cap to 3, which means after 3 back and forth exchanges, the AI is going to hand control back over to me. I'm going to send in 3 short messages back to back to back, one after the other. There's the 1 reply, there's 2 replies, and there is 3. And on the 4th message, the AI hands the conversation to the human. And the cap is working exactly as designed. The AI knows when to step back and let a human take over for a deeper conversation. So that is the first look at QuoteIQ's auto-reply feature inside of QuoteIQ's ClientHub. And if you ask me, my honest take on what we just looked at, the setup itself genuinely fast, about 2 minutes if you know what you want. The custom instructions field, it's the biggest sleeper feature in this entire system. It's essentially a system prompt for your business. And the contractors who actually take the time to encode their specific positioning, their specific value props, and their specific sales playbook into that field, those are the guys that are going to dramatically get way more value out of this feature than anybody else who might skip it. The action-taking permissions, especially book appointments, are the highest upside here, and that's where the time saving really starts to compound. A customer texts at midnight, the AI books the job, and you wake up to a confirmed appointment on your calendar. That right there is the future of home and field service businesses. But the bottom line of this entire thing, if you have a home or field service business and you're not the first person to respond when a lead reaches out, you're probably going to lose that business. They're probably going to call somebody else. This category of feature is going to eat your competitors who don't use it. If you get in now and you implement this in your business, you're going to be the one that gets those jobs. QuoteIQ's auto-reply is replying contextually, booking real appointments, holding the line on pricing conversations, routing the right messages to humans, and respecting every boundary that you set during the setup. It is the kind of feature that lets a 1 or 2 man operation compete with much larger businesses because the AI is handling the inbound while you're out doing the actual work. So I am genuinely interested if this is something that you would use in your own business. If you think this is something that would be beneficial to help you land more jobs, close more jobs, increase your close rate, that is what I want to know. Which permissions would you turn on first? Let me know. Comment down below. I answer them all. Anyway, thanks for watching. You can have a 14-day free trial at myquoteiq.com.